Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. I am your host, Daniel Atai. Transparency International Index on Nigeria's corruption and the ranking of recent based its yardsticks on police bribery, nepotism, and insincere anti-graft fight with reference to the EFCC. Nigeria dropped 25 over 100 points, 149 position out of 180 countries, 3 steps downward from 146 position of 2019. But the presidency has reacted to Transparency International's tag, saying Buhari's administration deserves credit. Welcome to Spectacle. I am Daniel Atai. Please stay glued to your TV as we take a short break, and when we come back, my guest analyst will do justice to it. It promises to be very, very interactive, so don't go away.
The issue here we have to begin to look at is that at the time of independence, I don't know if there was a trajectory to where we are going to.
But how could it be that credible, free and fair under manual conduct of election?
That is where our problem lies, and that is why people are now saying that, advising that we should move, that the world has gone into digital. We should move from the manual to the digital.
We cannot keep doing same thing and expecting a different result.
The only way you create jobs from your ministry is that you have to encourage local content.
If you look at the profile of Salimama,
there is a caveat in this leave given to him. He should seek medical help if he is fine.
Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. Welcome back. Now, before we take a look at what Garba Shehu said, that is the presidency's reaction to Transparency International's claim about this corruption tag. Now they have said we are equal with Cameroon in terms of corruption. Comrade Dantata, you are in the studio. Let me formally introduce you to my viewers and guest analysts. Comrade Dantata is the acting president of Arewa Youth for Peace and Security, and the other portfolio you can
Director of Security, Salute Nigeria Initiative.
Salute Nigeria Initiative is the director of the security of Salute Nigeria Initiative. Welcome to Spectacle.
Thank you very much, Erudat and Common.
Thank you. What claim that TI is using to drag Nigeria backwards since 4 years now? The index they use in their corruption tag or judgment has been dropping our country constantly, especially at 0.6% according to their rating. And this is not making us look nice before the international community. Are those yardsticks very, very correct before we look at Garba Shehu's rejoinder per se?
Well, if we have to take into consideration the various defense that the Transparency International have, which starts from the police and others.
Yes.
But the facts are, you cannot use the police alone to rate a country. I will give you an example. Like we made a statement yesterday regarding the vacuum that is going to be created today. You know, the Inspector General of Police is buying out.
Yes.
And we as Muslims and even people coming from Arewa Youth for Peace and Security, our position was that for us to be taken seriously by the entire world, let that position rotate and go to the south-south. Agreed that General Irabo is from the south-south, but if you look at now, Chief of Naval Staff is from Kano, right? Northwest. Chief of Army Staff, Kaduna, Northwest. When you are talking about corruption, even where you take certain positions, you make it to be domineering in certain areas, it's also corruption. So, and these are some of the things that are spoiling us. So, and when we are making our presentation, erudite, we said, let them go to Bayelsa, because we carried out, as Arewa Youth for Peace and Security, we are in tandem with the runnings in armed forces, police and others, that there is a particular Assistant Inspector General of Police that is from Bayelsa.
You are talking about G-Tobo.
Moses, that very good, very good.
I think he said he is the only one among the 29 AIGs.
We have carried out background check on the AIG Moses. Moses was police ADC to Jonathan as vice president. He was PSO to him as president. He was commissioner of police in Adamawa Command and presently AIG in Force Headquarters. Without knowing him, in fact, outside the television that I see him, this is how it's supposed to be, because if me as a Muslim, as a northerner, and my group is now saying it is not my brother that is Jubril, it is not my brother that is Musa, that since we have gotten Chief of Naval Staff from Kano, gotten Army Staff from Kaduna, let us make it two. Because when you look at the North and the South, they are always together. And when you want to battle, let me conclude.
The corruption.
I'm marrying this because Transparency International, when they are bringing their facts, sometimes let them also come and investigate from people like us, because you cannot just hear from some unjustified critics and conclude. To the best of my knowledge, this Buhari administration, the world leaders among the Committee of Nations, they take him seriously in two fights. Firstly, his fight against corruption and his fight against insurgency and banditry and kidnap related cases. We cannot give him that credit that he has not reduced corruption. So you can't take the fact that the police officers, some of them, unscrupulous ones, they take some little money. What about the corruption in NNPC, CBN, Presidential Villa, our embassies, and other sectors of the governance? So you cannot say, that is why we say now, let the police hierarchy be somebody that is welfare driven. Somebody that can improve the accommodation life of the rank and file of the police, somebody that can improve welfare, so that this issue that they are using the police as an example, wherever it comes from. So, and that is why this Moses, when we carried out, they said even his background in the police is welfare driven, that other ranks are in support of it. So the issue I'm trying to say is that once you improve welfare of the rank and file, you reduce corruption, that this transparent installation will now come and say, because of the little bribery and corruption in the police. That is why I'm telling them, if they don't know how to go about vetting and background check on corruption, they should put their searchlight on Central Bank, put their searchlight on NNPC, put their searchlight on Petroleum Equalization Fund, put their searchlight on even paramilitary agencies and other ones. There are other areas where corruption is taken. Even the monies that some of these governors use to fuel these large convoys is also corruption. At a time where we cannot take care of our education, healthcare delivery, and also others. So in my own personal view as Saliu Dantata Mahmoud, I think the TI's presentation is wrong, in the wrong way. How the report is carried out, sometimes they rely on third parties. I can give you an example.
Completely on
I was a consultant.
But you yourself have agreed that the police bribery, they are right about it. The bribery in the police.
The bribery, you see, when you are talking about bribery and corruption, these skeletal ones, I don't see them as issue. But it's 20 naira and 15 naira money.
But
what about the man that embezzles billions that are supposed to be used for healthcare delivery, education, security, power, road construction, and host of others that jeopardizes the future of me and you and those of my children? Do you now say that the constable, a corporal, a sergeant, an inspector, ASP, and others that goes for patrol field work, and maybe the little 50, I'm not encouraging that, but what I'm saying is that if TI really want to help Nigeria in fighting corruption, they should go and ask how much has been taken from our excess crude account from last government to this present government. What I'm saying is from 77 till date. They should go to the electricity sector and investigate what corruption is being perpetrated that is making dark out and black out to be order of the day. They should go and investigate why state of the roads across the seas, geopoliticals are bad. They should go and investigate why today, if you have cancer and other high-level related diseases, you need much money to go to national hospital and other highbrow hospitals, why we don't have healthcare facilities that can tackle these high diseases in rural areas that are local government headquarters and even ward levels. They should also go and ask what is responsible for the falling standard of public education and private schools are taking over. They should also go and check how much certain higher echelons in governance put to their kitchen to even give to their mistresses and host of others. So you cannot come the innocent police officer that is there. Me and you sleep in the night.
Collecting the stipends from innocent Nigerians applying
like
the road.
I told you, I am not encouraging
Yeah.
the collection of that.
Yes.
And to the best of my knowledge, I think certain IGs have done their best. And that is why we are now saying we have found a credible person. Are you getting my point?
Okay.
Bring a credible person. You see, sometimes it is when for example, today, if the lower rank in the police, that is the constable, sees that the IG, the DIGs, AIGs and others are caring and welfare driven, that if he has a hazard allowance, insurance, at the point of death, they will take care of his family. Those little money, nobody will even tell him to be taking them. And sometimes also blame we ourselves. Sometimes because we are in haste, we don't want the police to check our papers, driver's licenses, and other things. We seems to just
giving the 50 naira and go. Or even giving 200 naira and go.
But the one you willingly give them is not bribe.
Yes, it's not bribe.
It's just out of your mind.
What about the one they will stand and demand?
Absolutely.
And ask you, oh boy, you don't know what you are supposed to do, but
absolutely.
Or you park here.
Absolutely. Has Transparency International never ever taking its time to go and do joint forensic auditing as a non-governmental organization in collaboration with Office of Auditor General on how much INEC, Third Fund, NHIS, and other? No. You see, a bigger thief is supposed to be our point of concern. Are you getting my point? So these areas I'm mentioning, there are sensitive parastatals in government that corrupt this guy. You know,
more than the
bribery
police.
is in two ways.
More than the
there
police.
Is the visible bribery and invisible one. The visible one are the alleged ones. And mind you, the man who gave birth to me was a police sergeant major. I don't know whether you met the generation of sergeant major.
Yes, I met.
They've now scrapped it out. Those that used to put badge here. My father was one, and he trained his brother who retired as an AIG. Okay. So I'm part of the police family. So when I'm now in the studio and I cannot also justify certain things.
My immediate younger sister is a sergeant.
You see, when you provide welfare for people that lay their lives, this police, forget about the ones you see at the outpost.
All right, let's move to the second one before we give Garba Shehu's report. Nepotism. You saw what they said, that insincere fight against corruption by the EFCC. Several EFCC enforcement leaders, let me say head of the anti-graft agency, have come and gone. The last being Ibrahim Magu. And Transparency International said the fight against anti-graft that they have seen from EFCC is selective. Do you see it selective, noting that most members of even Buhari's party and of his administration were docked and jailed? Could they be right by that assertion?
Well, I think the selective fight they are trying to do, to some extent before they corrected it initially, it was against major opposition members of the PDP. But later, I think they corrected it. You can see the case of grass cutting by former SGF, and Batu that was removed later, Babakir and host of other people. You can see even though they inherited that of Minor that was extradited via the cooperation with Interpol and host of others. You see Magu as an individual, even within the commission, when they go and make investigation, he arrogated certain powers. He ought not to laugh. Controlled, because I can tell you the running in EFCC, they have EFCC lawyers, they have detectives, then they have the police officers. Magu is coming from the police background as its chairman. There were even certain people, like I can tell you now, there is a particular director is in charge of legal there now. Throughout the Magu years, he was frustrated out of EFCC, posted to Kano today, tomorrow to another place. I can also tell you a case of an Australian, just mere petition that they did. Up till now, the passport of that Australian, his name is, I think, Greg Todd, has not been given to him via Magu's what have you. So these are some of the injustices Magu did in the EFCC. So even though it lies on the Justice Issa Salami panel to say whether he was guilty or not, but Magu was more individualistic than general. He had his own kitchen cabinet, his own boys. There was even an allegation of one Edo guy that was in his kitchen cabinet that they traced filling stations and all sorts of other things from him. The issues are he never carried out the activities of the anti-graft agency in the interest of Buhari's belief and doctrine of anti-graft war. He did it with his individual cronies who were loyal to him and other things. And like I told you, that Australian even had to...
But the Attorney General, that means the Attorney General of the Federation was right. And if the Attorney General came...
Malami was right.
Malami
I was among the people, for record purposes. I was among the activists that even wrote certain write-ups, petitions to the president, even some became media material and host of others, that all is not well in EFCC. And I'll give you an example. Even since Magu assumed office, let me finish, it is good for the interest of the country, so that when we are reviewing and adjusting and restructuring it will go better way. No promotion for EFCC lawyers, no promotion for EFCC detectives for years, even while Magu was there. All these things are wrong. So
I am going to look for Magu to come and defend this.
I will be ready if you call me. We do face-off. Okay. I talk based on facts because, mind you, we also carry out our own background investigations. We don't just do 5-star or tea-room, statements. Okay. We must talk from informed background. And I'm telling you, even if you carry your disguised camera and your reporters to EFCC under condition of anonymity, some of the staffs there will also concur with what presentation I made in this studio, because what we are doing is for humanity and posterity's sake, and for the country's anti-graft fight to be sustained and to be corrected, so that we can do it with human face, not against people we hate, people we don't like, and people that we inherited power from. And let me tell you, if anybody think President Muhammadu Buhari knows most of these things that they did there, is not true, because the Attorney General's office is supposed to constitutionally supervise them, just like the Supervised Legal Aid Council, National Human Rights Commission, and ICPC, and host of others, even NDLA and host of others. So the issues are whether Magu or not now. What we need to do now is whoever might take over from DC Umar, or if it is the DC that will be given substantive chairmanship, should be able to do what is right, when and how, and not interest, self-centered interest, that yes, I look at this face, I don't like the face, let me persecute, let me intimidate, let me harass. That is not how to fight corruption.
Good. Meaning that you have agreed to TI's index case on police bribery. And,
no. I point of order on the TI's issue of police. I disagree on that issue of police. I told you
anti-graft is in self-fight.
I disagree, because there are other agencies where people take bribe, and I told you there is visible and invisible, and we cannot use the visible 2020 or 15 naira. So on police, I disagree.
Okay,
on police.
However, corruption is corruption, bribery is bribery. On nepotism, what do you have to say? These are the three yardsticks they gave. On nepotism, they accused the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration to be nepotistic, though Garba Shehu have defended the president accurately and perfectly, which is the next report we will see. you, from your perception of the runnings, federal characters, and ministries, departments, and agencies' designated portfolios, what do you think? Do you see nepotism and the coming, or perhaps the next Inspector General of Police is another case of study that we are beaming our searchlight on?
And even the promotions done by
the promotions the Police Service Commission have done so far, because if we want to jettison the tag of the TI, then we must have substantive evidence to prove that, yes, we are not corrupt, according to the tag of the Transparency International. Though no country, like I said, Transparency International should not be the one to adjudicate the case of Nigeria or any country, because sometimes their index analysis are taken from awkward and animosious perspectives. What do you have to say on nepotism?
On nepotism, I think there is no party that will be a ruling party that will not like to satisfy its own people. Even the PDP did it. Obasanjo, he did his own. Yaradua did his own. He brought his own people. Jonathan did his own. Now Buhari is doing his own. Even in the United States of America, when Trump was there, he favored his own people. Now that Joe Biden has come, in favor. So if TI wants to talk on nepotism, let them start with first world countries like United States of America, United Kingdom, and others. There is nowhere in the world where your party wins and you wouldn't like to satisfy your people. And you cannot just slim it or narrow it to only ministerial appointment. Who is the head of service? Is head of service another? That, let me tell you, head of service, the office of head of service is more powerful than office of Inspector General of Police. The office of head of service is more powerful than chief of defense staff, naval staff, air staff, army staff, immigration controller general, NIA, DG, and other. And if you ask me the reasons, I will tell you. Civil service, federal civil service, is the most juicy portion of the society, because petroleum ministry is part of civil service. Agriculture ministry is part of civil service.
But the president is the minister of petroleum.
President is who is the minister of state? Is he not Timothy Silva?
Yes.
Where is he from? Bayelsa, South. Is that nepotism? So if you can give head of service to Yemi Esa, a Yoruba woman, even though they say she's from Kaba, that is not central, but she's Yoruba from North Central. And she's a Christian. It's juicy. It means the president is tolerant, is not being nepotic. If you can give a secretary to government of the federation to a northern Christian minority, boss Mustafa, it means he is believing in interfaith. So I don't want to open...
Okay, do you have anything to say?
Who is the chief of defense staff now? Is General Irabo. Combine the three arms of the military. The chief of defense staff is ahead of all of them. Are you getting my point? So there are certain considerations these international organizations don't make. And when you look at parastatals, there is balanced situation there.
Now, the chief of defense staff,
yes,
you said, good. Let me see, the service chiefs, the 4 service chiefs, or are they 5 that were just
there are 4
appointed?
There are 4 chiefs of defense staff.
Chief of army
yes,
staff,
army,
chief of air staff, and naval staff.
No, you do according to order of precedence.
Yes.
Yes, army, navy, air force.
There is no consideration from hearsay and what people are analyzing now for the southeastern part of the country. Is that a nepotistic tendency by the president?
Well, I don't want to go into that, but I will tell you, in consideration on security, the president is the commander-in-chief, and he has national security advisor. So what is the difference between South and Southeast? No, if the Biafra agitators are saying we need the South, so now if they give position in Nigeria to South and they don't support, tell me, see, South is South, North is North. The issue I want to tell you, that is why from Arewa Youth for Peace and Security, now the position of IG from today is going to be vacant. We are saying give it to the South.
The Moses G. Tobo is South.
He's from Bayelsa.
He's from Bayelsa.
He's South.
And
he's the only high-ranking AIG police officer from the whole Bayelsa. I don't want to mention them so that people will now start accusing me that no, he has gone to know. I have not met him.
Me, I know that he's next in line. I have the police.
We want our own Arewa Youth for Peace. For them to know that this Arewa, we bring everybody together. I'm not saying you should give my brother from Katsina, Sokoto, Kano, Kwara, Niger, or Taraba, or anywhere. Give it to AIG Moses because we are followed. Let me tell you, when I wrote Rotate Office of Inspector General in 1999, it was published in New Nigeria. Then Musiliu Smith, present chairman, Police Service Commission, was AIG Zone 1. I never knew him. I just wrote it. And when Obasanjo was making some of the considerations, that newspaper writer was also used that, look at, this is a Saliu Dantate Mahmoud from the north. He's not from the southwest, he's not from southside, he's not from any south, he's from the north. And he's agitating we should give Musiliu Smith. And they did it. So now the same Saliu Dantate Mahmoud that did this for AIG Smith, who later became IG, I'm also doing it that they should give it to AIG Moses from Bayelsa.
All right.
For prudency. I want to advise my brothers from Southeast. They should see people, any position that goes to South, it's like their own. Are you getting my point?
But so if they don't, it is not still their geopolitical zone.
Well, brothers are brothers. Now, not somebody from Northwest, North Central, Northeast. We are all one. Now I cannot pursue somebody.
We are the North Central. We are saying we are now middle belt.
No, there is nothing like middle belt.
We are middle belt because we also want the presidency.
There is no way now. You as my brother, you are a northerner first before coming from Benue.
I am not a northerner.
You are a northerner.
I am from
so
the North
Central. So if you invite me to Oturpo, I will always come.
I am from the middle belt.
I want us to do one thing.
Yes.
Let us promote national cohesion.
Yes.
Let's forget about sentiment.
But even if the government promotes sentiment at times, you want to curtail the line of sentiment. Like what we're analyzing here is national agenda setting.
Who are the government? Me and you are the government. It is mistaken
me
that we say only people that are elected.
Me and you have no authority.
We elect them. We make them.
Yes, we make them. Sometimes they also make
Don't themselves. We have the right to recall our members and other people? Don't we have the right
My brother, forget about this.
Because our political awareness and apathy is not being put into practice.
We will begin to do that soon. But in terms of nepotism,
agree also that no country can survive amidst sentiment, segregation, nepotism, favoritism, godfatherism.
We are going to continue this.
Religious bigotry.
We are going to look into Police Act completely, probably within the week. And I would like to invite you again. The reason is that these yardsticks that we are analyzing so that the government also will take correction from where they have loopholes. But however, let's go straight to take the report of Garba Shehu and what he said, that the presidency deserves what? President Muhammadu Buhari deserves credit for the fight against corruption. Please, MCR, give it to us and let the audience enjoy it. Corruption. Buhari deserves credit. Presidency tells Transparency International. Buhari has reduced corruption in Nigeria, says Garba Shehu, replying to Transparency International over its recent corruption perception index that tagged Nigeria at 149 out of the 180 countries surveyed. The new data analysis showed that Nigeria dropped 3 positions and scored lower in number of points than in past records, portraying the country's corruption situation as high. However, in a statement released by presidential spokesman Garba Shehu, the presidency insisted that it is not an accurate portrayal of the facts on the ground. Shehu also said the Buhari administration is currently analyzing the sources of data used in preparing the report by Transparency International. And the statement reads, President Buhari deserves credit for diminishing corruption in public service. The Buhari administration deserves credit for diminishing corruption in public service and will continue to vigorously support prevention, enforcement, public education and enlightenment activities of anti-corruption agencies. We are currently analyzing the sources of data used in arriving at the latest Transparency International report on Corruption Perception Index in Nigeria, since, by their own admission, they don't gather their own data. This report is not an accurate portrayal of the facts on ground. In the coming days, the Government Technical Unit on Governance Research, TUGA, will be providing more detailed information on the sources of the Transparency International data. While this is being awaited, the examination carried out on their 2019 report showed that 60% of their data was collected from businesses and other entities with issues bordering on transparency and ease of doing businesses at the ports. Although this is a government ready to learn from mistakes and make corrections, the economy of this country in its fullness is bigger than the seaport we have. We are also not aware of the characters behind the TI in Nigeria, whose opposition to the Buhari administration is not hidden. We have repeatedly challenged TI to provide indices and statistics of its own to justify its sensational and baseless rating on Nigeria and the fight against corruption. We expect them to come clean and desist from further rehearsing of old tales. A Naira-denominated review that excludes recoveries in dollars, pounds, euro, shows that a sum of 1.2 trillion naira was recovered by EFCC between 2009 to 2019. About 939 billion naira of that total was recovered between 2015 to 2019, with less than 300 billion naira recovered in the first 6 years. Additionally, preventive instruments deployed such as Treasury Single Account, Integrated Personnel and Payroll Information System, IPPIS, coverage expansion and the removal of 54,000 ghost workers from federal civil service, saving us about 200 billion naira annually, serve as evidence that the perception is not reality. Reality is based on verifiable facts and data, and any evidence-based analysis would prove that whether it is by prevention or punitive measures in recoveries and prosecution, this administration will be rising fast up these rankings rather than standing still. Organizations should be factual in their analysis and be prepared to rely on input outside of sensational media reports and age-old narratives which have not been updated to reflect today's reality in Nigeria concerning its globally respected war on corruption. In the existential fight against this multi-pronged malice and manifestation of corruption, President Muhammadu Buhari has avowed that he would take no prisoners, guided by respect for the rule of law. We invite Nigerians to stand with an administration that has done so much on asset recovery, prosecution, legislation, political will, and leadership by example in the fight against corruption. Equally, we urge our friends in the media, development partners, and the civil society organizations to continue to support efforts to strengthen accountability, transparency, ethical values, and integrity in Nigeria's public sector. President Buhari has put his hand to the plow and will not relent in working with those passionate about the welfare, stability, and prosperity of future generations to come in Nigeria. Garba Shehu, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity. This report was replied on January 28, 2021. Welcome back. And of course, that was the rejoinder and the credit that presidency said they deserve, Buhari especially, deserve credit for the fight against corruption. And from what you have watched so far, Dantata is still in the studio. I think they are perfectly placed side by side, just opposing what TI said and what the presidency said. But however, before you make any comment, the Transparency International and the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center also gave the following recommendation in addition to what Garba Shehu said. Number one, they said the government should be transparent on how state and non-state actors uses COVID-19 relief funds. That is number one. Number two, they said the appointment to public service must be on merit. Any public service at all must be on merit. Then number three, the National Assembly should pass relevant anti-corruption laws. That is, relevant laws in addition, so that other bodies apart from the federal government will be able to do what? Fight corruption at the state level, at the local government level, and private enterprises should fight corruption alongside with the FG. Number four, which is very critical to the police reform. The Police Reform Act 2020 must be what? Implemented. The number five, constant interaction with the masses. The presidency should be interacting with the masses. The number six, state and local government and other bodies, like I say, should fight corruption. Within this and what Garba Shehu have said, do you see any difference?
Well, you talked about the presentation by CISLAC. You see, when you talk about the funds for the COVID-19 management, we ourselves have faulted the disbursement, the channeling, and the mode operandi. Because you cannot, in a situation where even palliatives were supposed to be given to people from rural towns, urban centers, and other areas, and you found these palliatives in stores months after disbanding the COVID-19 committees. So I think the Presidential Task Force owe Nigerians certain explanation. Mind you, the private sector contribution is a private initiative, so we cannot question that. Then when you come as regards the other issues raised regarding police reform, you said?
No, number two, appointment to public service must be on merit.
We cannot say competence and credibility has not been followed. You see, when we are talking, we should talk as
number
professionals,
three.
Or we should talk as, let me take example, political appointments. No minister is serving as Minister of Federal Republic today that is not a graduate that has had postgraduate experience either in private sector or governmental circles. So are you now saying they are not competent, or they don't deserve it, or they are not coming according to their states and their geopolitical zones, or must they come from the opposition parties? Like I told you, the essence of a party winning elective offices to satisfy its own people too. That is number one, is justified. You cannot say people that are directors, generals, managing directors, executive secretaries, and most of others are not qualified. Are you saying that the TET Fund executive secretary, Professor Suleiman Bagoro from Bauchi State, is not qualified to be there? Are you saying that the executive secretary of Petroleum Equalization Fund is not qualified to be there? Are you saying that the general managing, group managing director of NNPC, Mele Kiari, is not qualified to be GMD? Are you saying also that
because of
service
time,
chiefs are not qualified? Then, as regard the Police Act,
yes, number four, police reform is
police
a must.
reform. This
because
police
of the Police Act
implementation
2020.
is what we are waiting for. You see, the Police Act itself, especially subject to appointment of IG, that I disagree. You cannot say that an AIG who has had certain experience, the most senior, must be the one to be appointed, or so. It's rubbish. When you are talking about somebody being commander-in-chief, security is not civil service. Security is not private sector. It has to do with evaluation, performance, and what have you. It is very possible that a newly promoted commissioner of police or an AIG that is not even up to four years, maybe by his antecedents, his gallantry, his awards he has gotten when he started as assistant superintendent of police or inspector, what have you, maybe he was somebody of proven integrity, he's not found wanting, somebody that has done the police job very well. He's calling. You look at
okay,
all this.
now statutorily, 3 Deputy Inspector General of Police and 10 AIGPs are scheduled to exit the Nigerian police force as the IGP Muhammadu Adamu bows out, supposedly, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Maybe today.
Yes.
It's supposed to be today, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, the first, that is first 2020 here, 6 of the remaining 19 AIGs are also retiring, maybe this year, on the course of this year, between March and October, including those serving as commissioners. 6 of them are also tapped to be retired. Well, Adamu is also expected to retire along with the DIG. Some DIGs, like 3 of them, and other DIGPs. Anyway, the Police Act, from what we gathered and what the recommendation of Amnesty International on the implementation of the Police Act, everybody that's supposed to retire within the rank and file that have served meritoriously 35 years in the police should also what? Be flushed out. Is that not?
Absolutely. Well, I want to bring a point. Like I told you why I disagree with the act, because I'm privy to it.
Is that why has the act been assented to?
No, it has. It has, even if it has been assented to by the president, I don't think it has been implemented, because it has to go through transmission. Be it as it may, let us keep it the way. But the major things we should say now, why we in our background check, because we carried out profiling of most of the AIGs and host of others. Why we narrowed to AIG Moses from Bayelsa is because we don't want this issue of where you appoint somebody as IG, then he has limited years. We have realized he has even up to 9 years.
Yes,
are you getting my point?
Now, possibly,
even though the Buhari presidency, we know that by 2023 to be going, let us pick a vibrant, intelligent, young, welfare-driven, and unbiased. Let me tell you another thing that impressed me, Erudat, and you will keep it in your archives message. My own brothers who are Muslims, they are police officers. They say 30 of them, as Muslims, this Moses, AIG Moses, he took them to the Holy Makkah, Holy Hajj. Is that not somebody that can promote national unity?
Well, he can.
So what we are saying at this,
the retirement of these ones favors him. Because out of the 29,
I don't want to go into that. You know what?
Out of the 29 that I have here,
I've told you what I'm
from the Police Act and what we studied
by
so
the
far.
Standards and by the standards of the Police Act, by the years he has in service and what have you, is very much qualified. I'm getting my point.
All right.
And it is my hope that President Muhammadu Buhari, I as his northern brother, are you getting my point? Let us use this to show people, because if you look at people from the south, anything that has to do with northern political, we are always having alliance right from time. So this time around, if we are having 2 service chiefs of naval and army, let us also give them IG so that they can have CDS General Irabo and AIG Moses as Inspector General of Police, so that tomorrow when 2023 comes, they will now say, yes, Buhari is leaving indelible legacy. Me, I want to be remembered as somebody who fought for Chukuma, who fought for Ebere Papa, who fought for Munzalim, who fought for Adebayo. I don't want to be tribalistic, because if you are involved in accident, the next person that rescues you might be Christian, might be another tribe. Are you taking tribalism to stand there? No.
All right. I think we'll call it a day from here. We're supposed to go into the number 5, constant interaction with the masses. What do they want? And state and local government also to fight corruption, not only FG. These are the 6 recommendations from Transparency International and the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center. However, we believe our audience, we can't take your reactions on our social media platforms right now, but we believe we have dished it out to you. Just subscribe to our YouTube platforms and like us, follow us on our Twitter, Instagram, we're there. Television Nigerian is the channel, and we're also open for sponsorship. Spectacle, especially this program, is open for sponsorship. We can take you far beyond the reach of media for your antecedents, your political aspirations, and what your plans are. your plans for the future, your plans for the government, your plans for the private sector. The numbers are there for you to reach us from our advertorial. Thanks for watching, and I have been Daniel Atai.
Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. I am your host, Daniel Atai.